What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have some breaking news to share with you guys today when it comes to a judge has ordered that these probationary employees be rehired, okay? So reinstated, their jobs be reinstated because they were laid off. There was a mass layoff, and they were taking just probationary employees, federal employees. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. I'm also going to talk about some of the ramifications when it comes to our economy as well as Social Security. But first, let's take a look at some of the headlines. Here we go. Okay, let's take a look at some of the headlines. It says, judge orders thousands of federal workers reinstated, slams sham government declaration. Politico is reporting thousands of fired federal workers must be rehired immediately, judge rules. New York Times is reporting Trump administration live updates. Judge orders thousands of federal workers reinstated. USA Today is reporting Trump administration ordered to reinstate tens of thousands of fired probationary workers. Business Insider is reporting judge blasts Trump's mass firing of probationary employees as a sham and orders jobs to be reinstated. And so this is the current situation when it comes to these job losses, these layoffs. And so what I want to do is I want to show you some of the things that the judge actually said in court regarding this matter. And the judge is quoted saying here, it's a sad day when our government would fire some good employee and say it was based on performance when they know good and well that's a lie. And so this is, it's pretty cruel when you think about it. So you have people who are on probation, okay? So they're working. You could be a new employee, but you also could be an experienced employee that's been there for years and years, and you received a promotion, and so you're on probation because of that promotion, and now you got laid off as a result of that. And so not only are they taking people who just started working, but they're also taking experienced people. And people who have been promoted, so if you're promoted, that means that your job performance would have to be at a certain level in order for you to be promoted. But the reason that they used for laying these people off was their job performance wasn't good. The judge went on to say, a sham in order to try to avoid statutory requirements. And the judge is saying that the current administration was trying to avoid these protections, these legal protections that you would have by saying, well, they're probationary employees and their job performance isn't well, so that's why we're laying them off in large numbers. But the judge did say, if it's done right, there can be a reduction in force within an agency. That has to be true. And so the judge is saying, look, we can have a reduction when it comes to these different agencies, but you just can't do it this way. You're not doing it the proper way, and we will see. And we're still hearing more and more layoffs coming from the federal government. And so we're most likely going to continue to see that. But you can't use this probationary, these people that are in this probationary status and just say, okay, we're going to lay all those people off. You can't blanket do it that way. You have to do it a different way. And you have to provide them with the legal protections that they normally would have. And even Congress weighed in on this. Congress itself said you can have an agency do a reduction in force if it's done correctly under the law. And then you also had a lawyer that's representing the unions, and they said this action by OPM made Swiss cheese of the federal agency at every level. And so ultimately what I think is going to happen is we will see the mass layoffs. That still will happen, but they just can't use this method to just lay people off. They can't use that whole probationary period. And so what do you guys think about this? Looking at this situation, if you're laying all these people off, this is not good for our economy, okay? You lay all these people off, they're going to have to find new employment. Right now, the unemployment rate is pretty low, and so there are not a lot of jobs out there. And so you're going to lay off thousands and thousands of people, and you're taking money out of the system, basically, because although you might be reducing the amount of money that the federal government has to spend on employees, you're also reducing the amount of revenue that the federal government can collect because you have less people in the workforce. And not all of those people are going to find jobs right away. And so they're not going to be paying taxes. And so that's going to impact our economy, as well as Social Security. This is another thing that people don't really think too much about. But when it comes to Social Security, when you're working, you're contributing to FICA. If you're not working, you're not contributing to FICA. And so this could be a situation where you're laying off thousands and thousands of people. Those people are no longer contributing to FICA. And if you guys don't understand how FICA works, when you're working, you contribute 6.2%. Your employer matches that 6.2%. That goes to the Social Security Administration to help pay out benefits. And then when you get to the point where you can retire, you're going to have people working, and they're going to be doing the same thing. They're going to contribute 6.2%. Their employer is going to match that 6.2%. That money will go out to help pay your benefits. And so that's how Social Security works. But if you're laying all these people off, now you have less people in the workforce, less people contributing to FICA, which means it's going to draw on the trust funds. This $2.6 trillion that's sitting in the trust fund right now, it's going to draw more on that because they're going to need to pull more money out in order to pay out benefits because you have less people in the workforce. And so this is going to be a disaster, not only for our economy, but also for people receiving Social Security benefits, because we only have about 8 more years where the trust fund could be depleted in about 8 years is what experts are saying. If we see the trust funds get completely depleted, then we're going to be looking at a 23% cut for people receiving Social Security benefits. And that could be expedited if we have less people in the workforce because you have less people contributing to Social Security. And then not to mention, federal agencies provide services to the American people. That's what's important to note. They're providing services. You might not think, okay, well, I don't need this service or I don't need that service, but they still provide services. So if you are in a situation where you need to call and talk to someone about something, you can call these different agencies and get information, and in most cases, you don't have to pay anything because it is a service that's provided free to you. And I'm going to end with this story. There was a situation in my house where I had a leak, and I was trying to figure out where this leak is, water leak. And so the first thing that I did is I called the city. And so the city came out, and they checked to see if the leak was coming from inside the house or outside the house. You know, they're just basically checking. If it's outside of the house, then of course the city would repair that at no charge. If it's inside of the house, then it's my responsibility. Now, it was inside of the house, but they came out and they checked. And then they told me, they said, look, if you ever suspect that there's a leak or anything like that, when it comes to your water, your gas, or anything, call us. We'll come out for free. No, we don't charge you anything, and we'll let you know what we think. And so that's what I'm talking about, services. Now, let's just say, and this is not the federal government, this is local government, city government that I was dealing with, but let's say we are in a situation where it's the federal government, and you call the federal government, but they don't have enough employees to get someone out there. This person came out, they were out there within 15 minutes. But let's say it's a situation where you don't have enough employees, and so you call, and the federal government says, sorry, we don't have enough employees right now, it's going to take 3-4 hours. But you have an urgent situation like a water leak or a gas leak. So that's what I'm talking about here. The federal government provides services. We're paying for those services. You start eliminating people that are working in these different agencies, it's going to have an impact on people. And so that's something that's not being talked enough about. And once you get rid of these people, then guess what? If you get to a point where you realize, oh, we made a mistake, now you have to hire new people and you have to train new people. And that's going to cost a lot of money. And so you already have people that are there that are trained. And if you let those people go, now it's going to cost even more money in order to get more people back in these different areas, these different crucial areas that need to provide these services to the American people. So just something else to think about. But I want to know what you guys think about all this. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.